Hi everybody, my name's Joe Summers. Along with my wife Tanya, we own and operate Chalily. From time to time I share with you some of my favorite plants. And you know I have a lot of favorite plants. But tonight I'm kneeling in our display pond because I have one of my most favorite plants, and that has to be the Victoria water lily. If you were with me tonight, you could smell the fragrance of this lily. The fragrance of pineapple and butterscotch was mixed in the air. This bud is just now opening. What makes this plant unique, for one, it blooms at night. This particular water lily that blooms at night is an annual, and the first night that blossom is white. Tomorrow night I'll come back and I'll show you the color has changed to pink. The first night the flower is female, the second night the flower is male. This plant also has ginormous leaves. Each leaf can be anywhere from 4 to 6 feet. The leaves also have thorns. That's a good defensive mechanism against predators. Thorns are also present on the stems of the flower petiole and on the entire leaf petiole. This plant is well protected. When I worked for Missouri Botanical Garden, I was lucky enough to go to the Amazon rainforest and study this giant Victoria water lily. You may have seen some of the old photographs of this plant holding up full-grown people. It could be a lady playing a violin or perhaps an old policeman. I personally have set up to 70 pounds on a leaf without any trickery and had that leaf fully support that individual. Obviously that was a small child. When I worked for Missouri Botanical Garden, my wife and I were adventurous enough and we laid our baby daughter on that giant Victoria leaf, and that photo became an internet sensation. In my 20 plus years of being a horticulturalist and working with water lilies, I've only introduced one hybrid. It was called Victoria Adventure. So what I did is take a male species and a female species, crossed those two, and came up with a new hybrid that had not yet been introduced. The Victoria water lily is strictly an annual. It does not produce any kind of storage unit. So in St. Louis, we do have to replace the plant once a year. It is grown from seed every spring and will reach its mature size by midsummer. Typically June, July, August, we can find those plants and starting to put on some big healthy growth outside in our pools. Hi everybody, it's been about 24 hours. And last night when we left, this Victoria water lily flower was a big, full-bodied, white-colored bloom. On the second night, this flower has started to turn pink, and those petals have reflexed or bent backwards. So now we're going to see the flower turn into a male flower and release pollen if a pollinator was to come around and cross-pollinate with another plant. Sometimes they do self-pollinate. So throughout the evening, this flower that was once creamy white would turn to this deep rose color, and that color will intensify as the night goes on. Those anthers are full of pollen. If there happened to be a pollinator, they would certainly collect a lot of pollen and distribute it to the next plant. So after tonight, this flower will be a nice rose color in the morning. The petals will fold up, the sepals or the outer layer of that flower bud will close, and then that flower bud will sink underneath the surface. If the flower was pollinated, then we'll see that S-curve to the stem. The Victoria water lily is so versatile. The plant can be grown in a little tiny pot. In fact, I've grown them in a 4-inch pot before. They have tiny leaves and even tiny flowers. I've also grown them in huge pots as big as 3 foot by 3 foot. In that case, each leaf would be around 6 feet across. That particular plant could have, 6, 8, 10, 12 leaves on it. So in that case, the exact same plant could be grown in a whiskey barrel or a giant display pond. The water depth on a Victoria water lily is also very versatile. I've grown the lily in as little as 12 inches of water over the top of the pot. I've also measured in the wild the plant growing in as deep as 23 feet of water. Wow, what diversity. I sure hope you have a new respect for the giant Victoria water lily just like I do, and it's one of your favorite plants also. I thank you for watching. Check us out at chalily.com, Facebook, or Instagram.